truth is, some of us keep reading old chapters and acting surprised that the story never changes. Let's sit there for a second, because people do it with other people all the time. And if we're honest, we do it with ourselves too. You ever hear somebody say, man, he'll never change. That's just how she is. I know me. People don't change. Really? Because if people couldn't change, recovery wouldn't exist. Healing wouldn't exist. Growth wouldn't exist. Prison survivors wouldn't rebuild their lives. Parents wouldn't break cycles. Marriages wouldn't recover. Communities wouldn't transform. You wouldn't be listening to me right now. People change. The question is whether you're willing to update the story. Because sometimes people change and we never noticed. And sometimes we changed and never gave ourselves permission to believe it. Because some of us met somebody in chapter 2 and kept talking about them like they're still in chapter 12. Still holding mistakes from 10 years ago. Still introducing people to old versions of themselves. Still bringing up who they used to be. Still making people pay interest on debt they've already paid off. Some of y'all just looked at somebody. And some of y'all just looked at yourselves. Because self-forgiveness struggles with this too. Some of us are still introducing ourselves by our worst chapters. Defining ourselves by addiction, by prison, by divorce, by trauma, by that season where we lost ourselves. Still introducing ourselves by our mugshot instead of our mission. By our relapse instead of our recovery. By our worst decision instead of the thousands we made after that. You keep saying, I'm the person that. No. You were. Maybe. But are you still? Because hear me carefully. You are not every version of yourself that ever existed. Imagine if we all got trapped inside our worst season. Imagine if every mistake became permanent. Imagine if every chapter became the entire book. No growth, no healing, no redemption, no mercy. And organizations do this too. Schools do it. Communities do it. Sometimes systems keep reading old chapters about people long after they changed. I remember I was the case manager at a juvenile justice facility. And he used to drive everyone wild on the team that I wouldn't read the residents' files. I wanted to meet the kid. That's my story. That's my position. Even when I was a social worker on a healthcare team, I don't want to read the file. I want to read what someone said about somebody. I want to read what happened 5 years ago or a year ago. I want to meet the person first, see who's in front of me, and get to know them. If we're honest, many of us want grace for ourselves and permanent labels for other people. We want people to say, that's not who I am anymore. But then struggle giving other people the same room. That one was medicine. Hear me carefully. This doesn't mean we ignore patterns, right? We're not talking about abuse. We're not talking about toxicity. We're not talking about dysfunction. It doesn't mean we tolerate harm. It doesn't mean that I'm telling you to become naive. Some people are exactly who they keep showing it to you as. Maya Angelou says it. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. We believe them. But that doesn't mean that they can't turn around and show somebody else, that they can't change and evolve. Some people have done the work. They fought the battles that you never saw. Some people prayed, they healed, they recovered, they apologized, they rebuilt, they changed, and maybe you did too. Today, this morning, I want you to ask yourself, who am I still reading from an old chapter? Who am I still reading from an old chapter? A partner, a spouse, a child, a parent, a friend, myself? Because healing sometimes requires turning the page. Maybe the chapter ended years ago, but you keep rereading that page because your life was never supposed to be one chapter. Understand this. It's a book. Keep reading. This is Dr. Bass with your morning medicine. Sometimes it feels familiar. Sometimes it stings. Sometimes it burns. But surely it will do what medicine does, and that's heal. And if my voice is reaching you, it was meant for you, and I encourage you to share it with someone that needs to know you changed, someone needs to know they've changed, and someone that needs to know that there are people around them that have changed, and they have to turn the page. I'll see you tomorrow.